I think that's the big question. Recruitment, retention, and retention.
We need to work on recruiting Native American faculty and staff, as well as students, to the University of Pennsylvania. And this is a real challenge for us.
Actually, I've done a lot of thinking. Being in the Graduate School of Education, education to me is a primary vehicle for movement out of lower socioeconomic situations, if you will. That being said, education has always been used as a double-edged sword against our communities.
I think it'll not only diversify, but I think it'll enrich universities to have a cross-section of students who represent a variety of cultures.
What I would like to see is more culturally native students. Culturally native students adds a different diversity in that we can teach people what we really believe in and how we see things differently.
We have currently, I believe, the smallest number of self-identified Native students, undergraduate students, of any of the Ivy Leagues.
I think the reason why it's so important that Native students are present on college campuses is because if they weren't, then their tribes aren't going to have the human capital.
People who go to these schools today are going to be the next, lawyers and, senators and congressmen. And if you are educated in the same manner that they were, then that just gives you so much more power to play on the same level as they do when you meet, in Congress because of these environmental issues or because of, these native rights issues and issues of sovereignty. If you know how they're thinking, then that gives you so much more of an advantage.
I'm encouraging all the campuses to work with their local Indian communities. We've been able to do that here because I'm part of the Lenape Nation of Pennsylvania. So we get the students involved in powwows and make them feel part of the local Indian world.
We can definitely locate, first of all, areas in Philadelphia and New Jersey that have many local natives, a lot of Lenape, a lot of Cherokee.
And I think when pressed on this issue, a lot of them say, well, we have diversity programs. We have, we're trying to increase minority hires and recruitment and even students. But that goes back to the point that we made earlier, is that when you talk about minorities, Native Americans are usually not included in that discourse.
The first recruitment challenge is that they're afraid to go away from home. They miss their families. They don't want to be away from their families. So if we can provide a family here on campus, that's a major step because that becomes the retention issue. We do not want to recruit students who are not just because they are Indian, for example. We want to be sure that they're capable of doing the work and being successful.
So if you're going to be going to these types of communities, I think that contact needs to be made earlier, grade 10, grade 9, grade 11, because in order to get into a school like Penn, there are things that need to be in place.
We don't need to have them come here and not be successful. So we want to be sure that they have the skills that all the students that come here have, and that's important.
Because not only do you want social supports, but you also want academic supports, because ultimately, to stay here, people have got to pass their courses.
I think the next challenge is many of us do not have the financial means to attend a place like Penn.
We absolutely need to have Native faculty. If we're going to try to have any type of indigenous epistemology taught at Penn, we're going to need people like Manu Meyer.
They would they're such a source of inspiration and support because they achieve the goals that we want to achieve.
In order to recruit Native faculty, we have to work with individual departments. In other words, we need to identify Native American scholars that are doing work that is of interest to particular departments, because those are the departments that recruit them here at Penn.
The idea isn't to create Native students that are successful in the Ivy Leagues, but to create students who are successful in their lives and have had a good experience at the university and have hopefully made a difference here.